Greetings, fellow capstoners. Today, I'm going to show you a cool way to reuse plastic bottles to create planners that will actually hang on top of each other. So I'm going to guide you through it step by step. First, we have to find an empty bottle. If you have one laying around, that's fine. We didn't, so we bought some water bottles and we're going to make this one empty. Refreshing. Now, we want to remove the label. Whatever water bottle you're using, you should be able to remove the label. Second, we want to make a cut in a rectangle. That's where we're going to plant the seeds. So this is kind of tricky. A good way to do it is just kind of have a measurement in your head. If there's ridges on the bottle, use those. I'm going to put the scissors in right here. And then we just start cutting like so. So when you're done, you should have a cut like that. It doesn't have to be exact, just as long as you have enough space so that you can fill it with dirt when we're done with the process. Next step is poking holes on both sides so that we can string through it and make them hang. This part's a little tricky too. You just want to get a good hole, kind of measure it out in the middle of your rectangle. So I'm going to try and get mine here. I got that pretty easily. That's one. And then your second one at the top of the bottle. And there's two. So you should have two nice holes that are pretty equal to each other. If your bottle has ridges along the side and then there's also little seams, it's good to use those. The next step, I have a drill, but if you have a way that you think you can measure them out equally, you want to get the holes about as centered as possible because we're going to string through them. We don't want to be off balance. I'm using the drill because it's easy to pinpoint a straight line, obviously. So you just kind of measure it up. It also makes a nice clean hole in the water bottle. So do this for both sides. Yeah, they should be pretty even. If you can look through and see the other one, you're in good shape. This one looks pretty good. Just make sure all the plastic is off to the side, leaving the hole open too. So yeah, then this is your basic setup. You want to put the cap on. And that's going to be your basic planner right there. So the basic steps I just showed you are probably left best in your hands. I wouldn't recommend having the children be cutting the holes and getting them exact. It takes a little bit of precision, a little bit of time. The next step that you want to do is you want to make a little hole for irrigation. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make one just like that. Maybe make it a little wider, but you know, whatever you feel is gonna work. And that'll just make it so the water can circulate in and out. And once you're done with that, I would say have these ready to go, and then take them to whatever school you're working at for the kids to work with. The next step is you want to have tape. And essentially what you want to do is tape all the sides of your opening. So when you're done with the taping, it should look something like that. Just make sure that all the tape connects and that you have it both taped on the inside and the outside. The next step is going to be stringing whatever type of string, twine, cable that you decide is best. I'm using twine because it was cheap and easy to find. Depending on how long you want your, how many bottles you want hanging from the twine, you should measure and have them pre-cut before you go to class. This one's about 5 feet, and it's a little tricky to string it through. So what I did is you string it through first on the first one, and then take a pair of scissors and just kind of ease it through there. It'll be a lot easier for you, make your day a lot easier. So get it through. You're gonna want to do it for both sides. I'm gonna take another piece of twine here. Do the same thing. So once you have your string threaded through the bottle, you want to take some sort of, either if you can tie a knot really well, or I'm using these basic picture hangers, but anything basically that'll provide a base so that it'll steady the planner. And you want to string it through however you're using, and then just tie a knot. If you're using something like these, I would say double knot it. So once you have it tied up, what you want to do is just tighten it, and as you can see, we have a little base for the plant to steady it. You want to do this for both sides, obviously, and then this string will run through to the other bottles, and if you can just keep doing this in order, one after another. So once you have both your bases knotted to the bottle, the next step you want to do is just go along the continuation of the string, and you're obviously going to want to put another base on the string before you put the next bottle, because you won't be able to go back and do that. So just measure it out, about however long you want. That's probably about a foot. That's where I'm going to keep mine, I think, maybe a little bit closer. And then you just want to go and tie another knot. Make sure that you get it so that it's going to stay in place. So the next step after you have one base tied on is you want to get the other base tied on, and you want to make sure that they're even, so that it'll hold the plant straight. A good way to do that is if you have a partner, or even by yourself, you just straighten out the strings and then measure them up. These ones are pretty even, as you can see. And we'll get the next bottle on, and then we have our little planner. So when you're done, and if you've gotten everything even, you should have a planner like this. And you can see the concept is pretty interesting. I'm planning on doing 3 bottles per planner, and then you just take the loose ends and tie those over whatever support you want to tie them over, and you have a planner. The next step would obviously be to fill this with soil, and then you want to plant a seed. I'm using beans and some flowers that germinate really quick, because I want the kids to see the results pretty soon after doing it. And yeah, I mean, just water it, and it seems like it'll work out pretty well. So that's all from me. Good luck and have a great time, Capstoners.